What's up everybody, Michael Hurdle here from the Michael Hurdle Production Studio, helping you render your imagination when it comes to video production, 3D animation, and visual effects on small or no budget at all. Today, I would like to give this electric skateboard a good review. And when I say good review, I mean just a review. I like to talk about my thoughts and my opinions about this Paean H2B electric skateboard. Now, it's been literally a month since I had this electric skateboard. And I gotta tell you, this electric skateboard, at first when I got it, I thought it was gonna be a cheap knockoff electric skateboard that is gonna be no good and probably break down after a while. But I gotta say, this Paean H2B electric skateboard, it has some good things and it has some bad things to it. And I like to talk about both of them to see, you know, which realm it falls into. So I got my chest mount here. I got the GoPro Hero 7 Black recording it on my chest mount, and of course I got the Canon 80D recording right here. So let's start off from top to bottom. We're gonna switch over to this to the mount. Now I see, first of all, if you looked at my first impressions, you can see that I don't like the color blue, that light color blue grip tape. Now when I first got this board, the wheels were the same color as the grip tape, but of course after some wear and tear of New York City streets and all over, that the wheels are starting to take a different color from the board. So that's not really too much of a different problem. But so far, the deck still has a good flex to it. The wheels are still in good condition if you look at the wheels from this perspective. Right, the wheels are still in good condition still, and look, the bearings are still pretty decent, right? But underneath this board, that's where all the wear and tear takes place. So let's turn this bad boy around first and start from the bottom, and then work our way to the top of the deck. Now, so far, the bearings are pretty decent. I haven't really had too many problems with the spin of the bearings, and surprisingly, I haven't really had any problems with the motors as well too. So far, it's been a month, and I didn't have to change any of the belts yet. When I first got this out the box, I realized that it was making a really slight type of bendy sound or squeaky sound whenever one of the motors would turn, one of the dual belt motors would turn. So I was wondering what the hell was going on with that. I even took the wheels apart and I swapped the belts. I swapped the left belt for the right belt and the right belt for the left belt. And I noticed when I did that, it worked for a little bit, and then afterwards it started coming back again. So I guess that wasn't too much of a big problem. But one of my main concerns here is the remote control and the speed of the board, right? And I noticed, you see right here, if you look right here, I'm giving it just a little bit of throttle, I realize, right? And as I give more throttle, it's more like a pressure sensitive. So as you give more, you're gonna get more throttle, which of course is gonna be taking away the battery life. But I realize that sometimes I don't have that much control when it comes to the torque and the brake. To this day, I have to say that I'm still having a little bit of problems with the brakes. The braking is pretty iffy. I'll be going about 15 to 16 miles an hour. That's as far as I feel comfortable going right now with this board. And when I'm going 15 to 16 miles an hour, I realize that when I have to come to a complete stop, I can't come, let me just say this, when I have to come to a complete stop, I just pull back on the brakes fully, and then I just lean back and I compensate for that. Now that's cool and everything, but there's gonna be some cases where you're gonna have to gradually come to a stop, especially when I'm going downhill. I realize that when I'm going downhill and I just wanna come to a nice gradual stop as I'm going, it just doesn't. Like sometimes I will pull the throttle back a little bit so I can get some brake, and then it will slowly stop the board a little tiny bit depending on what speed you're going. And then if I just give it like a ½ an inch more pullback of the brake, I will come to a complete stop, brakes will lock up, and I'll fling off the board. And that's one of the problems that I've been having with this thing. And I gotta be honest with you, Paean. Now I'm not too sure if this was like a demo board that you sent me, because I've been riding this thing for a whole entire month, and actually besides the color and besides the braking issue, I really don't have any problems with this. I gotta say that this skateboard has taken my skate virginity. So that's why I'm always gonna love this skateboard. Now I remember when I first got this skateboard, I said I went for 2 or 3 days straight without recharging this battery. That's if you're a brand new novice that just came out of nowhere and you're running on mode 1, and like someone said in the comments, you're only going like 1 or 2 miles a day. But now that I'm starting to really put some miles on this thing, I'm gonna probably say I put over 100 miles on this thing because I go every single place with this. Even when it was raining the other day, I went somewhere with this and I was riding all over the place. Paean says that this battery will get you 14 miles. And you know what? I believe them, it will get you to 14 miles. But I realize is that it depends on your weight. I'd say the lighter you are, you might be able to get that 14 miles. Because I got on this board and the maximum distance I went until this battery died on me was about 11 to 12 miles. And that was only on mode 2. Most likely my style is mode 1 and mode 2 because mode 1 and 2 is pretty comfortable. Once you get past mode 3, you're on your own, and definitely you gotta wear a helmet all the time. So I would say to charge this battery up now, the experience that I'm having now, to charge this battery up still takes about 2 hours. But I realize now that I'm riding on mode 2 a lot only, I'm not getting that 14 miles, first of all, and the battery is drained within 7 miles, I realize. So if you keep riding in mode 2 and 3, the higher the mode you run is the more battery life is going to drain, and on top of that you're going to go to get less distance, of course, but you'll get to your destination a little faster. The hub motors are cool, but the belt motors, I don't know, I'm in love with them. I'm in love with the sound of it. I'm in love with the torque you can get. You get some good torque on mode 2. You definitely get some good torque on number 3. I like to put the remote control on mode 1 and usually pull off from there and then crank it up to mode 2. Now I realize that when I'm riding, I don't have to, some of the boards you have to completely stop, then switch over to mode 2 or 3 or 4, the highest modes, to go a little faster. But one thing I realized about this is that in the middle of me riding, if I felt the need to go a little faster, I can crank it up to mode 2 while I'm riding and it will adjust right there, and I can keep going to mode 2, 3, and 4 and stuff like that. Now, some people ask me what kind of battery is in here, and I gotta honestly say, I didn't open it. Now, I realized that in order for me to get to the battery pack, I'm gonna have to make some puncture wounds in the board, and I'm gonna have to now unscrew these screws here. But when I first got the board, I didn't feel like doing it because it was brand new. I liked the board, I was excited, and I didn't want to, you know how sometimes you get something new, you don't want to cosmetically destroy it. So that's one of the things that I did, is that I did not want to cosmetically destroy it. But I think I'm to the point now where I think I've beaten this board so much. Let's look at the bottom of the board and look at the condition. Now, I noticed that when you are on this board, most of the back of the board and the skid plates and the belt, some of the belt itself takes a lot of wear and tear. I realized that I had to take off the mounts for the skid plates, so because there was a little pebble that got stuck back there, and you heard the pedal bouncing around in there, the pebble, and I just unscrewed these 2 screws that came with the toolkit, or the T-tool, and I removed it, and I actually pulled out the pebble and cleaned the wheels. The wheels do get dirty very quickly, but the other day when it snowed, I just went outside on some kind of like moist pavement and the wheels just got cleaned off. So it's easy to clean the wheels, easy to clean the boards. I haven't had any electrical problem with this yet. One of the major things that I realized though is that as I am riding and I'm going to a top speed, let's say 15 miles an hour, and I had to stop because somebody either pulled out in front of me or something like that, and then I was still coasting and I didn't pull back on brakes, but then I would give it some throttle, I would jerk kind of off the board a little bit. So Paean, you have to work on your jerk control. Personally, I had a great experience with Paean. They were back and forth with me with email all the time. I've heard people in the comment section say that sometimes they're not replying back to them. I don't know what's going on over there. Just to let you guys know, I do not work directly for Paean. I don't have any relation with them. I'm just the guy who they sent the board to, and I just told you my thoughts and opinions on the board. So that's as far as the extent that I go with Paean. And I try to answer as much questions as I can when you present these questions to me. So, I mean, I'm hoping in my first impressions video and in this video that I've covered some really good topics when it comes to this board, and I just wanted to give my full review on this board. I consider this a review, just my follow-up. You can say a follow-up review, because both the first impressions video and this put together, I would say will make a review. So if any of you have any questions to ask me when it comes to this Paean board, please feel free. You can always send me an email at michael@saltygamers.com, or you can go to michaelhurdle.com and you can find, or you can go to michaelhurdle.com/PN or Paean, and then you'll find more information on the H2B electric skateboard, and then you can make your decision. I try to take as much pictures as I can. I try to take as much video and give you enough information so at least you can be clear with it. So Paean, I hope you're listening to your customers, and I hope you're listening to us. And so far, this board has been treating me well. It's not one of those boards where you're gonna get it today and like 3 weeks later it's gonna be broken or snapped in half, unless you do some crazy shit with it, you know what I mean? You're jumping off of rails and stuff like that. These electric skateboards were not designed to do that, but if you want to take the chance and go ahead and do it, be my guest, it's your money. So, in conclusion, my name is Michael Hurdle from the Michael Hurdle Production Studio, rendering your imagination. And I guess I'll talk to you guys the next time I do a video. And please remember, go to michaelhurdle.com or go to youtube.com/michaelhurdlestudio to find out more information. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so every time I upload a video, you can see my videos and be one of the first ones to make a comment. Anyway, my name is Michael Hurdle from the Michael Hurdle Production Studios, rendering your imagination. And I'll talk to you guys the next time I do a video.